The Urantia book. The Urantia book. In paper 34, the local universe mother spirit, the presence of the Holy Spirit, of the universe daughter, of the infinite spirit, of the spirit of truth, of the universe son, of the eternal son, and of the adjuster spirit of the paradise father, in or with an evolutionary mortal, denotes symmetry of spiritual endowment and ministry, and qualifies such a mortal consciously to realize the faith fact of sonship with God. There are other lines in the book where they say the different spiritual influences on everyone is vast and much. The eternal Son himself, his spirit is around you, not in you, like the universal Father's spirit of the thought adjuster. The thought adjuster spirit is in your mind, and any normal-minded human being, evolutionary will creature on Urantia has a thought adjuster, the individualized portion of the spirit of the universal Father from Divinington is the name of the planet where these spirits, actual spirits, come from. But there's a line in the book that maybe in a paragraph sort of sums up all the different spiritual influences around any given individual human and humanity in general. So the Holy Spirit is the spirit of the co-creator of this local universe, the daughter of the infinite spirit, the consort of Michael of Nebanon. The Holy Spirit is with the minds of humans, the spirit of truth. The eternal Son has his own spirit amongst humans, the thought adjuster from the universal Father. The infinite spirit, though they say something about the infinite. Well, the infinite spirit would be the Holy Spirit through the divine minister, the daughter of the infinite spirit. All these spiritual influences, of course, they say here and there throughout the book that all these spiritual influences work as one, for one. In other words, all these different spiritual influences of the higher beings are coordinated to work together. So from a cooperation standpoint, a love standpoint, so the goal of all these spiritual influences among evolutionary human will creatures, will beings, will humans, is so that a human will being will decide to go on to become a finaliter or one of those other three sons, those beings who do more work in the grand universe. Finaliters are held in reserve by and large, more or less, for the next outer space level. And then they say mighty messengers and then a couple others. You can become that as a human, eventually become that after meeting the universal Father, after experiencing the universal Father, the first person of the Trinity, after enjoying the embrace of the universal Father, the first person of the Trinity on paradise. You can become mighty messenger, and there's two other names, I believe, as far as and those beings do more work in the functional work in the current universe versus finaliters. But the goal is to get every human being to get to that point, to want to become perfected, fused with one's thought adjuster, a faith son of God in eternity. That's the goal for these spirit influences and these spirit beings. That's their goal, is to get every mortal to want to go on for eternity. There's a couple Bible quotes here. So, that you may be strengthened with power through his spirit in the inner man. That experience wherein you shall be, quote, filled with all the fullness of God, quote, for all those who are led by the Spirit of God are the sons of God, quote, Bible type quotes. They bring in Bible type quotes quite frequently in this book, the Urantia book. The flesh, the inherent nature derived from the animal origin races, does not naturally bear the fruits of the divine spirit. So they'll talk about that in the book, that error, not doing the will of God, but not really intentionally not doing the will of God. Error is it would be the definition of that in the Urantia book, and the definition, I believe, given by Jesus of Nazareth when he was defining evil, sin, error, iniquity. When he was defining these things, error is the unintentional not doing the will of God. It's inevitable for a human will creature to commit error. As the lowest order of will beings, humans will commit error. When the mortal nature has been upstepped by the addition of the nature of the material sons of God, as the Urantia races were with Adam, then things get better. So Adam and Eve were here on this planet roughly 38,000 years ago in the Urantia book. They were put on this planet as full-grown adults, and they were here maybe a couple hundred years, I think, roughly a couple hundred, maybe 100, something like that. I forget exactly, not very long, because they're meant to be here for a tremendously long time until this world is actually settled in light and life. So, certainly from when they were then until today, which is 38,000 years or so ago. So, but Adam and Eve defaulted in the Urantia book. Eve was impregnated by a human evolutionary will creature, not her husband Adam, and so they were found in default. They were found in default because Eve did this. That's in the Urantia book. The local universe, sons of God. Yep. The sons of God previously introduced have had a paradise origin, such as myself as a magisterial avonal son, born of woman in a bestowal mission, currently on Urantia, Urantia. They are the offspring of the divine rulers of the universal domains. I am an offspring of the divine rulers of the universal domains. I am an offspring of the eternal Son and the infinite Spirit, the second two members of the Trinity. In the universal domains, I have had a paradise origin as a magisterial avonal son. I have had a paradise origin. I, as a magisterial avonal son, am the offspring of the second two persons of deity here in the universal domains of the first paradise order of sonship, the creator sons, there is in Nebadon only one, Michael, the universe father and sovereign. So, Michael of Nebadon, the maker, ruler, creator, now sovereign of this local universe. There's only one of him. I should say, of course, but there's only one of him, of course, because he is the one sole creator, maker, creator, son, Michael's son, the maker of this local universe, along with the divine minister. Those two beings create this entire local universe. So, of course, there's only one creator son in Nebadon, the being who created Nebadon. Michael of Nebadon bestowed himself as Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus of Nazareth was Michael of Nebadon. And Michael of Nebadon is one of 100,000 local universe creators, makers. And 100,000 local universes is the term they use. How many local universes there are in a super universe. The name of this super universe is Orvanton. Orvanton. The capital of Orvanton is Uversa. And that's one super universe. And there are 7 super universes make up the grand universe, the current creation, the first outer space level outside of the paradise of Ona, central perfect creation of the second order of paradise sonship, the Avenal or magisterial sons, such as myself. Nebadon has its full quota, 1,062. I am a member of the full quota of magisterial sons in Nebadon, and that number is 1,062. Of the Avenal magisterial sons, such as myself, I am in Nebadon and part of the full quota of Avenal magisterial sons, 1,062. I, as a member of the second order of paradise sonship and Avenal, here in Nebadon, I am a part of the full quota of Avenal magisterial sons in this local universe, 1,062. I, as an Avenal magisterial son, here in Nebadon, am part of the full quota, 1,062. Full quota. So I assume what that means is every local universe gets exactly 1,062, would seem to be what they're saying. I have no idea. I can't even fathom the significance of the number 1,062. They don't say anything more than that about the number. So maybe, depending on the needs of the local universe, the full quota could be a number different than 1,062 for other universes. Other of the other 99,999 local universes in this grand universe of Orvanton. Maybe, or maybe it's always 1,062 for some reason. It sounds as if when they say the full quota, Nebadon has its full quota of Avenal magisterial sons, 1,062. Sounds like what they're saying is that is the final number that Nebadon would have for Avenal magisterial sons to do the work in Nebadon of the magisterial Avenal sons. That's the way the sentence sounds. And these lesser Christs, such as myself, are just as effective and all-powerful in their planetary bestowals as was the creator and master son on Urantia. I am just as effective and all-powerful in my planetary bestowal as Jesus of Nazareth. I am just as effective and all-powerful in my planetary bestowal as an avenal magisterial son born of woman, as was Jesus of Nazareth when he was on Urantia. I, as a lesser Christ, am just as effective and all-powerful in my planetary bestowal as Jesus of Nazareth. Lesser Christs is in quotes in the book. I, as a lesser Christ, magisterial avonal son, born of woman, currently on a magisterial avonal bestowal mission here on Urantia, am just as effective and all-powerful in my planetary bestowal on this world as was the creator and master son, Michael of Nebadon, who bestowed himself on this planet as Jesus of Nazareth approximately 2,000 years ago here on Urantia. The third order, being of Trinity origin, do not register, but so between 15,000 and 20,000 Trinity teacher sons. The say here, paradise denotes are not magistrates, that would be me, nor administrators, that would be the creator son, Michael of Nebadon, but they are super teachers. The word super teacher, the word super teachers, that is paradise denotes. The types of sons about to be considered are of local universe origin. They are the offspring of a paradise creator son in varied association with the complemental universe mother spirit. The following orders are Melchizedek sons, Urantia sons, Lanandek sons, and life carrier sons. All very high sons, all very important, all do very important work. Super duper work. Like they say Melchizedek sons are amongst the most renowned in Nebadon, in Orvanton, or in Ensa, the I don't know. I mean, in Orvanton. I'm trying to think. There's a name for the major sector, minor sector. I think. What the hell? Renowned. Pretty sure that's the word. So, the order of Melchizedek and Nebadon is renowned throughout all Splandon. Splandon is the major sector capital. The major sector capital. There's 10 major sectors per super universe, I believe. So the Melchizedeks are renowned throughout all Splandon. Probably, I would guess, they don't really say this, but I would guess that because of all the rebellion activity that has taken place in Nebadon, Nebadon has had the second most Lanandek sons go into default or rebellion and default. The second most Lanandek sons go into rebellion or default. The second most of any of the local universes. One other local universe, maybe it's called Hensalon in the Urantia book here. Hensalon, maybe. But out of 100,000 universes, we're the second worst in terms of losing Lanandek sons. So because of the actions that are necessary to help a universe, specifically help the systems and the planets that are involved in rebellion in a universe. So the Melchizedeks do great work along those lines, as do many other beings, of course. But Melchizedeks specifically are probably renowned because of the great work that they have done in the face of rebellion that has occurred in Nebadon. But I'm just guessing on that. They don't say that. They just say the Melchizedeks of Nebadon are among the most renowned in Splandon. What do you say? Melchizedek? I don't know. So, anyway. Veranda Dex. You know what I want to? I want to look up Ensa. Can I look up Ensa? What the hell is Ensa? Minor sector capital is Ensa, and I think there's 100 minor sectors to a major sector. However many local universes that is per minor sector, whatever it evens out evenly. Whatever the number is, it's not hard to figure out. It's definitely in the book. But yeah, so Melchizedeks, when they talk about Melchizedeks, they say something about Melchizedeks are very versatile. They can do many different functions. As the highest sons in a local universe, after the firstborn Gabriel, they simply take care of things. They're not, they don't have any exact duty like a Veranda deck. The next level of sons are the constellation rulers. Whatever the number is, maybe three per constellation, and they rotate, something like that. Latin Index take care of the systems and the planets. There's primary, secondary, and tertiary Latin Index. Lucifer was like Latin Index number, I think really early. I'm going to say, I forget, but like less than 100, like number 14 or number whatever. Lucifer came early in terms of being created as a Latin Index sun. So usually those beings who come earlier, as far as Latin Index go, if they create 15,000 of them and there's 10,000 systems, they create a lot more than 15,000 of them then. Whatever the number is. So he might have been like a couple hundred in. Like as far as the Latin Index, Lucifer might have been, within 200 of the created Latin Index. And then he eventually got the assignment, the job of system sovereign. I don't know if he had to wait. Like if he waited longer than he felt was appropriate for him to wait to become a system sovereign, depending on when systems are made and when they're given their sovereigns and things of this nature. Life carrier sons are those beings who put life on an evolutionary world. They implanted life on Urantia, this planet, whatever it was, 3 billion, 5 billion years ago, whatever the number is. They implanted life on this planet, and then it eventually became human will creatures, evolutionary will creatures, evolutionary human will creatures. Well, they'll say this about Caligastia, the planetary spiritual ruler of this world who defected, defaulted, rebelled. They say that one of his characteristics was he was too empathetic with those beings, spirit beings, whomever. He was too empathetic with those beings who had a problem with their higher authority. Something like that. There's a line like that. One of the telltale signs of Caligastia as to why he would go into rebellion. They give one little sentence or a couple sentences about he was too empathetic, sympathetic with with those who had problems with people in authority, something like that. And if I'm just conjecturing, that the Urantia book does not mention anything about this. I'm just conjecturing completely. If Lucifer was, number 150 out of the Lannan index of a million, whatever the number is, it's in the book. I could look it up, but whatever the number is. So he's number 150, but he had to wait for like the first, maybe the first 500 Lannan index became system sovereigns before him, for example. And then he's like, well, now you're finally getting around to me. Now you're finally getting around to me. Could have been something along the lines of the spiritual higher beings recognized that Lucifer might have problems somewhere down the road in terms of loyalty. They definitely say this in the book. Emmanuel of Salvington, Jesus's chief advisor from paradise, Emmanuel of Salvington, reported to paradise, or to the Ancients of Days and or to paradise. He reported it to his bosses, his higher authorities, that all was not well in the mind of Lucifer. There's a sentence like that. So Emmanuel knows, before the rebellion, before the Lucifer rebellion, Emmanuel knows how Lucifer is thinking, because they say it in the book. They say Emmanuel of Salvington communicated to higher authorities, the Ancients of Days and or Paradise of Ona beings, or whatever, somewhere up there, that all was not well in the mind of Lucifer. So he knew. So from that standpoint of higher beings knowing how lower beings are thinking, did they postpone or put off Lucifer becoming a system sovereign? And did this make him mad? Be a part of the reason he went into rebellion? I'm totally conjecturing here. They don't say anything about it. They say, there's a line in the book like, for Lucifer to go into rebellion against the Trinity, God the Father, the Creator, Son, Michael of Nebanon, for him to go into rebellion against these beings borders on cosmic insanity, something like that. There's definitely a line like that. They talk about that, cosmic insanity. Oh man, what's going on? I went to a small fair earlier. I went to a small fair in my little town here, I went to a small fair in my town here. Very nice. And there's an outdoor concert I would probably go to. And I would go to the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting that is near my outdoor concert. Yes, the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting that is near my outdoor concert. I will probably go to that tonight.